Hey everybody, today I will show you my Numismatic Dynamo IF cycle using Actually Edition's Atomic Reconstructor. I consider this a very budget-friendly build, so it's nice starting out with it, the hardest resource being Electrum, Signalium and a few emeralds. We are also going to need a bit of Constantan. There have been automations using the coins, but we're going to use the lapidary calibration argument, which will allow us to use gemstones as fuel. Since we're using a dynamo specialization, we're also going to need a conversion kit to unlock argument slots on our dynamo. I would recommend using a reinforced conversion kit, since it's both cheap and lets us add an auxiliary transmission coil argument, which will increase our generation efficiency. Following that step, we should have a maximum power of 480 RF per tick per dynamo. So let's get into the cycle now. We need a way to harvest cocoa beans. I like using the Industrial Foregoing Plant Interactor. I am also using a range add-on which increases the range by a whole lot, as you can see here. It's not really fast. You could probably place another one down so you can have two of them going down these lanes at the same time, because you're like seeing how all of these are like growing and not being harvested. That's definitely an improvement you could do. We're pumping out the sludge and all the cocoa beans are going over here. Now this is where the actual additions part comes in. So I'm using the Actually Editions automatic precision droppers to drop them onto the atomic reconstructors. Now what atomic reconstructors are, they are an RF powered machine that will shoot a laser, and they are made to just convert material into alternate material. There are a lot of useful recipes on that, but we're using the lens of color argument, which is pretty simple. You just make a lens and then throw it in and get the lens of color. It's also very RF friendly for its immense power. What the lens of color does is it cycles through all the different dyes. Not in this order, but basically you can throw a bone meal in there and make ink sacs with it, then you can laser again and then make something else out of it. It's a good way to get all the different dye, but we're using it to convert cocoa beans into lapis. Now, luckily for us, lapis is right the next step from cocoa beans. So once this laser hits, all of those cocoa beans are becoming lapis, and then they are being collected by this range collector. Remember to whitelist the lapis, so it only picks up that and not the cocoa beans. Now I just pump all of this into an item barrel just to check if I'm producing too much and if I can add another dynamo onto it, because it will fill up if you're essentially wasting power resources by not using them. Important part is if you're using servos, put them on random, because if you have a large dynamo chain like this, it will only fill up the first ones and then keep on refilling them. Those back dynamos are never going to be used like that. If you're using random, usually a lot more should come up. This is a rather small production of lapis. You could get them all to work. Essentially, the limit is where your nerves are, basically. You could just keep rebuilding all of this. But I would recommend using a stronger or more rather compact power source if you need that much power. But this right here is enough to power a Draconic Evolution fusion table just fine. Even in just the base form, only a 5 dynamos would be enough. Now I'm pumping all of this into the core down here, and as you can see, I'm producing about 20k RF per tick. which is a lot, to say the least. It is not as efficient as a nether star generator or a big reactor, but it is definitely a lot more friendly if you lack the resources for it. Again, you don't need to have it all resonant and fully filled with auxiliary coils. By the way, here you can see if you max one dynamo out, you will end up with 960 RF per tick, which is quite a lot. I can show you that one lapis will produce... hold on, where is it? Ah, there it was. Will produce 80,000 RF per tick. This is way more than we're spending on our interactor and the atomic reconstructors. So basically, we have just created an RF cycle that can also potentially power some other machines, and some heavy machines at that, while using minimal resources. However, I might add that in case your mod supports any kind of diamond farm, like chickens, fluid cows, bees, roosts, or any of that sort, you can use that and just skip the entire cocoa bean and atomic reconstructor part. And I know for a fact that it will be definitely useful in mod packs like Stoneblock 2. I did that there. It was really efficient. Again, I hope you liked my tutorial on making a RF cycle using the Numismatic Dynamo. This RF cycle machine will work on mod packs like Feed the Beast Revelations, Stoneblock, Sky Adventures, or any mod pack that features Actually Additions and Thermal Foundation.